Good evening, Ruskin enjoyers. Hope you're right, because it's time for Profit Review. Last week we discussed the Easter Week 2 2025 Rustore, and now today we're here to talk about the last April Rustore for 2025, the April 24 Rustore. So sit back, relax, and start yapping. So, what was my initial reaction when I first saw this Rustore? Well, tire, hoodie, and pants. That was pretty quick, yeah. Wasn't too long ago since we saw the Tier 2. Okay then, so immediately I'm plotting. I'm anticipating more. Tier 3, boots and gloves. Sounds promising. Yes. Looks like that was going to be one of the blackout alternative options for this year. And I'll talk more about that in a bit, don't you worry. Looking at all the other skins. Oh, hang on a minute. It's another, bombshell skin. But hold up. This happens to be pretty special. This just so happens to be a Python skin with a transparent Aimsight. Oh, okay then. Well, now, we know of two other skins, right, that we could compare to that are doing a very good job of retaining the value at the moment. That is special. That is interesting. So, okay, that's a good talking point. Looking at all the other skins, interesting collection continuations here and there, but overall, it did feel like this was going to be a bit of a quiet week. With the two previous weeks being Easter skins, April as a whole not exactly being super crazy. It was, the spring season. It was the Easter dip. Things weren't exactly ecstatic. But in the background, a lot of people are going crazy in anticipation for the upcoming jungle update. Loads of people jumped onto staging. Loads of people fully well aware of what was about to come out. But that was not until the next week. It kind of felt like maybe everybody was going to save their funds for the next week. So overall, it really did feel like maybe it's going to be a bit of a quiet week this week. We'll see how things progress. Okay, but at the very least, looking at all these skins, what looked like it was going to be a very nice investment. And of course, I'm always going to quickly reference that. There we are. And of course, we'll have that a little bit later. So anyway, predictions. Initially, I looked at the, tire, hoodie, and pants because I was like, well, it's pretty quick to see a continuation. I felt fairly confident we would be seeing more of it. And with the hoodie and pants, we instantly saw the tier 2 Spiker-Man Spiker Prize ever so nicely. So yeah, of course you'd expect more. You'd hope to see more. But will it actually happen? I felt somewhat reasonably confident, but you never know what might come out the next week, right? Okay. Then looking at all the other skins, I had to bring up the Chrome Bombshell Python. So again, what's so special about the transparent Aimsight? Honestly, it isn't that much. But comparing to all the other Pythons back then, pretty much every single one of them was down bad. So, unfortunately, it appears to be a weapon that doesn't get that much love, and therefore was the justification to own skins. But people can't say no to a little bit of pay to win. So, in the past, we did have the Blackout Python. Now, of course, that being a Blackout skin, which is a very in-demand collection, it's not surprising to see it's doing well compared to all the other skins. But that also just so happened to have transparency in the Aimsight. And of course, we also saw the fairly recent Redemption Python. So, two other options that we could compare to, but that right there was selling for the standard $2 price. Perhaps that might actually work out perfectly fine, because by default it was the cheapest option. Well, was it going to work simply because of that? We'll have to talk about that, won't we? Now, looking at all the other skins, I had to bring up the Deep Ruby Sap. Of course, in the past, we've seen many interesting Sap skins being accepted, but I've never seen a bright purple one like that. Comparing it to everything else I'd seen, it felt special, it felt unique, it looked interesting, I had to mention it. And of course, by default, said it many times, Sap skins tend to be very reliable investments in terms of, out of all the skins here, what's most likely going to do a very good job of retaining its value? Sap skin. It could look ugly and everything, but it'll still probably do alright, because it does get a lot of usage. But it being shiny, strange, but unique, yeah, it did look appealing. The Deep Ruby collection up to this point, there was only these skins here. Is it going to be okay? Will there actually be more in the future? Time would tell, so okay. Promising, interesting, but got to move on. Cockayar. So this was a bit of a surprise, but honestly, whilst everybody was laughing and joking about the name, and of course you know what it is, I didn't think it was going to last. I did do a direct comparison to a very goofy AK-47 we saw in the past. Good boy AK. And at this specific point, I remember going back and remembering and looking. That good boy AK, which was quite considerably a lot more ruder with the little pug dog and the trigger and whatnot, that was only selling for about just barely over $1 when I looked at it. And I don't think I'm going to be able to find it right now, but I could probably just quickly look it up here. There we go. So basically the point was rude skins. It didn't feel like it was going to be a guarantee. And yeah, even right now, still cheap. So point made. Right. So let's just quickly close this back up because I didn't mean to click that. The joke didn't feel like it could carry it enough. The joke didn't feel like it was going to sustain the value, and yeah, I still felt like that was going to go down in price. It felt interesting to bring it up, but it didn't look like it's going to hold. It was getting a lot of attention, but I had to make a point. Starry Dream Thompson looked very interesting, nice and serene, but I didn't really expect too much of it. I just expected it to retain value quite nicely. I looked at all the other skins. A wooden door, ooh, nice, but wooden doors in general. The sheep in the door looked cool, but sheep in the doors, $2.49. So many sheep in the doors, didn't really have that much faith. Tools, just couldn't help but assume they were going to go down by half, inevitably, like pretty much all the other tool skins we see. Lamb box was interesting, cute little lamby lamb. Maybe farmers and whatnot, what the cooking update would appreciate having lambs outside their base. Yes, I know the boxes. Role players. But to leave it to last, Factory New MT49 collection continuation with the Factory New collection. It was interesting, but I didn't really see it. I didn't really understand it. I could see it was one of the top selling skins, which of course if I could take you back in the past, that's not the right one. Yeah, actually, no, I was comparing to the previous week. Oh, sorry about that. It was the top selling skin initially. I was like, people really do seem to like this. But I know M249 skins in general, they don't tend to work out very nicely. How often are people even get to the point where they get to use such a skin, or rather the gun itself in game? Again, if you don't use it enough, why do you want to have skins for it? And that's a bit of a dilemma. Would it actually retain interest? Would it actually work out well by Thursday? I didn't feel confident to answer properly. I didn't really have the confidence to feel, fully behind it. So we'll talk about that in a bit, won't we? So overall, it felt like it was going to be a quiet week. Sales didn't really feel like they're going to go insane. So what's the first 24 hours of sales like? Well, if we could just quickly hop over to here. Here we have this. Factory New M249 was the top seller. It had 6,469 subscribers, which isn't really an insane amount. But again, that's what we're expecting. Deep Ruby Sep, though, comfortably just over 6,000 subscribers. Ape Lord, Sheep in the Door, 5,600. Coquillard, just over 5,000. Really did kind of feel like it was fairly low. In comparison to the previous weeks with the Easter skins, oh, that looked pretty amazing. But still, being a bit realistic, I wasn't having, insane hopes for all of these skins. Starry Dream Thompson selling quite nicely. Chrome Bombshell Python with only 4,300 subscribers. That felt surprising. It's a pay-to-win skin. Yeah, but people didn't care enough. Okay. And to my surprise as well, Tie Hoodie and Pants selling very, very reasonably as well. But of course, if you can remember far back, Tie Tier 2 didn't really sell that much either. That was matching up very nicely with the Tier 2. That's a good thing. Okay. Things felt a bit promising. Wooden door, bit iffy. Small box, not selling that much, but that could actually work out very nicely for it. A lack of sales could probably maybe help it out in the future. And the tools didn't have any interest. Sounds a bit awkward. So anyway, let's now talk about what we did when we looked at all the skins when we did the abnormals. So let's hop to it. Let's remind you of the night, and here we are. Top selling skin turned out to be the Deep Ruby Sap. Turns out people did appreciate the very interesting, unique colour scheme. Factory New MT49 still was the second best seller. Ape Lord, third best seller. So overall, it really wasn't that much. But it was expected to be like that. Okay, cool. So what prices did I suggest when I looked at all these skins here? Deep Ruby Sap. $2.49. It looked nice. The Deep Ruby collection wasn't exactly going crazy at that specific time. It was doing okay at best. I knew SAPs would be a reliable option, but you would never really expect them to go up in price that much. They tend to only go up by like 20% in general. Okay, in general. So I looked at it, I questioned it, and I thought, you know what, I'll do $1.20 to $1.80. I felt confident I'd be able to pick up some with a $1.80 buy order, but if things do somehow go bad, I got my $1.20 buy order, so okay, fair enough, fairly routine. Factory new M249, $3 skin. I still wasn't 100% sure, and I still wasn't very confident. I could see it did sell nicely, but so many M249s in the past did suffer pretty badly. I went with a 60-cent to 80-cent barter suggestion. Ape Lord door, Sheep the doors, don't really have that much faith in them, wasn't really confident in it. I could see the potential of maybe a collection continuation. Ape Lord, Jungle update just around the corner. Okay, but still I only suggested 60 cents to 80 cents for that. Cock AK-47, I thought about it. I made reference to the, the Pug Dog AK-47, the good boy, little trigger. I didn't think the joke was going to keep interest. I didn't think the AK was going to manage to retain, its price. I suggested 60 cents to 80 cents. Looking at the tire hoodie and pants, both of them selling at $1.49. Just over 9,500 subscribers each. A good 500-ish extra subscribers compared to Tier 2, which is fine, totally fine. I was anticipating Tier 3, boots and gloves, maybe more. You have to, right? 2 core pieces currently through, expecting the final one, but boots and gloves would always, be an extra bonus. So I looked at it, questioned everything. I realised with the jungle update just around the corner, we'll probably see some green clothing and armour for a while. Maybe the skin creator might take a break. Maybe he'll put things on pause. Fair enough. But I went with 80 cents to $1.20. I felt confident. I thought the tire collection was going to progress nicely. I honestly thought it was going to be one of the completed blackout alternative options for this year. Now, in the past, we've seen many interesting blackout alternative collections being accepted ever since we've had blackout. Now, a little bit later, when we look at the prices for all it is currently now, I'll showcase that to you, and you'll get what I'm saying, because you might be a little bit confused. Fear not, I'll explain a little bit in a bit. Whittle Bloom wooden door, didn't have that much, I just didn't have any faith in it. That had just over 7,000 subscribers, but I do not trust wooden doors as investments. 40 cents to 60 cents. And the disease hatchet, yes, apparently just that one was abnormal. 60 cents to 80 cents. I don't trust hatchet skins, I don't trust pickaxe skins. Starry Dream Thompson looked fairly okay, didn't sell too crazily. I went with 90 cents to $1.30. Didn't expect it to retain insanely. I could still see it drop off a fair bit. But 90 cent to $1.30 barter definitely felt like that could catch at least something and would probably work out quite nicely in the future. Chrome Bombshell Python. Under 10,000 subscribers. Okay, well that's a bit surprising. Huh. I didn't think everybody was fully well aware of it. It was surprising. I looked at it, considered what to do. I went with a $1 to $1.50 barter. I was fully well aware, in the past, we had the Redemption Python. Now, I put out a short video showcasing its transparency and everything, but apparently a lot of people did not realise. I remember like 6 months later, someone on the Rust subreddit brought it to everyone's attention. They're like, guys, did you notice this Python here has the exact same pay-to-win Aimsight like the Blackout one? And there's so many responses of people like, what, really? I didn't know this. Maybe that was going to be another sort of situation like that. So yeah, $1 to $1.50. I kind of felt like it was still going to drop in price a fair bit. So okay, fair enough. Lambbox, 70 cents to $1.10. Didn't sell that much. $1.49 skin. 70 cents to $1.10 felt okay. I was anticipating more lamb skins to be produced, and I did see that in the workshop at that point. So yeah, Shilaka sales, cute design. I'm sure people would want it in the future. Yeah, I did that price. 70 cents, $1.10. And then the disease pickaxe, 60 cents to 80 cents. didn't have that much faith in it. Okay, so quiet week, fairly tame sales, fairly reliable buy orders, but was it a success? Let's now hop back over to here and question, what was the outcomes? Did everything match up to expectation? If not, I have to explain what happened. So just to also point this out, basically SUMM's had some issues and everything's kind of out of order, but I can still go through the order of what was the top selling skins, so I'll do it that way. One thing to also reiterate, at this specific point, the Steam market issue was fixed. No longer could you struggle to make a listing, being incapable of actually trying to get a profit. Unfortunately, a lot of the Easter skins and the skins before that week, they were kind of struggling because a lot of people were selling directly to the highest buy orders. They were losing their support. But this week, things were, resolved. And that Deep Ruby sap, that's done a very good job in terms of going up in price. That has become profitable. So here we have a very nice, colourful looking sap. But did you manage to pick up any? Or, with buy orders. So, there's only 22 listings on the Steam market at the moment. That looks like it's going to greatly appreciate the summer. Now, of course, we have seen more success with the Deep Ruby collection. That, of course, as you can see here, we've got hoodie pants, we've got tier 2. Perhaps we might see tier 3 boots and gloves in the future. And you'd then have an actual clothing armor set that can use the weapons and make it work. Because right now you might notice prices are down, but they've actually improved compared to where they were before. This crashed down real bad, but it's only down by a quarter of its price. Only a quarter. Crossbow's not too bad when you compare it to most other crossbows. The tools are actually okay, really good. In general, tools, they tend to be pretty bad, but they're alright. It looks like, basically, as we approach the summertime, people are actually kind of showing interest in this collection. This sap, this is done very nicely ever since it's come out. So hop back over to here, looking at the sales. As you can see, if I just hide that, quickly look over to here, take a look at that. It's just, it kind of dawdled for a bit, then it just went up comfortably, nicely. It's kind of just sitting here around just over $3 at the moment. Maybe around July and August time when we expect even more people to be playing the game, maybe they'll go up even higher. But it's basically matching up to the expectation of saps in general. Take one quick look at all the saps here, and you'll see for yourself that, okay, up 8%, down 5%, up 39%, up 8%, up 29%, up 31, 40, 20, 17. They don't really go up in price that much, normally. And if they were to go down, they don't really go down in price that much. I'm not joking when I say they tend to be very reliable. They don't really tend to be very profitable. But Deep Ruby Sap is one of the ones that's actually doing much better compared to the other ones that you see here. So, alright, props to that. So, my barter suggestion of $1.20 to $1.80 didn't work out. I actually picked up a couple with my stronger buy order. But of course, the price comfortably went up. And, well, yeah. Perhaps I should have been a lot more confident in it. I didn't even buy anything from this rush store. But, got to be honest with you. Let's just quickly take a look. How many sales have happened in the past 24 hours? 27. You know what? Fair enough. That does look like it could slowly progress and go up even higher. And of course, with more potential Deep Ruby skins in the future, all the better to it. So, alright, that did seem... It's a success. I should have offered more then. As I said, I did manage to pick up a few. If I only had more. Alright then. Faction M249. So, I did a 60 cent to 80 cent barter, didn't I? Yeah, maybe I should have offered more. Nope. As you can see here, this actually did work out very nicely. It's essentially retained its value, and it's essentially done a very good job in basically sticking around $3. Now, yeah, it's still slightly down in price, but compared to most M249s, that's done a fantastic job. It just kind of went down a fair bit, stagnated, and now it's starting to slowly kind of go up, kind of. But yeah, I expected the worst, and no, it was fine. People liked it, people wanted it, it's retained its value. Hedge, you were wrong. You were a coward. Oh, sorry. But did you pick up any? Did you pick up any of a barter or anything? Props to you, congratulations. But have you actually made a profit? Because if you bought that directly from the Rust store, you haven't made any profit. But a buy order, hey, maybe you have. So again, feel free to comment below how things have worked for you. Now, let's move on to the Ape Lord door, and hey, not surprised. I did see the skin creator trying to turn this into a collection. I remember Garage Door. I think I even saw a sheet with a double door, but no more acceptances. They didn't care for this for the the jungle update and whatnot. So, and people didn't care for it with the jungle update because as you can see right here, for a $2.49 skin, it's gone all the way down to 89 cents. Now my suggestion with the barter was 60 cents to 80 cents. Well, I guess you probably would have picked them up for a cheaper price, but would you have been able to sell them for a profit? It's a bit questionable, but after about 10 sales, you probably would have realised, hang on a minute, this is kind of crashing and burning. I should remove my bar order. So, yeah. If you happen to be one of those people that picked up a whole bunch of them, feel free to comment below. But are you happy with the way it is at the moment? And are you disappointed that we never got to see a collection continuation, even though many options were produced? So, sucks, but sheep no doors, this is how they usually end up. So, I was cautious for a reason. Coquillard. Right, yeah, no, this unfortunately did kind of crash and burn, but maybe it might be slowly started to go up now. Why is that? Because we've got more cock weapons recently. It's a lovely thing to say it that way, but we did just recently get a pump shotgun, and everyone's having a fun time sitting there and saying, I'm pumping my cock, because of course, pump shotgun, haha. Anyway, we might be getting maybe more of this, we'll see, but unfortunately, it did still half in price. That, of course, sold at $2.49. No, was it? It was $2.49? It was, yeah. Now it's sitting here at half the price. Did it go any lower? Whilst it has sold at a lower price, and it is actually still technically trending downward. No, that didn't really work out well. As expected, I suggested 60 cents to 80 cents. I have picked up a few, but in terms of profit, it's not that much, really. Not really, so... Did you pick up any of these for yourself? Did you at least enjoy the weapon? Were you happy? Or did the joke kind of like fizzle out after a week and you're just like, oh, yeah. Again, your opinions, would like to know. But it has been successful in getting more skins accepted. But with the start, just after it, as you'll see here, that kind of followed suit. Only till now with this pump shotgun does it like maybe stand a chance. These two are still probably going to end up like that, stay like that. But this, well, by itself, maybe it does work out nicely. Due to a Shilaka pump shotgun skin, so, okay, cool. Tie hoodie and pants. Now, look at them. Comfortably in the positive, but they have been higher. So, what gives? What's going on? Well, we did see boots and gloves, and we've recently seen a jacket, but never got to see the tier 3. 2 attempts for the tier 3 have been put down, but Face Punch seems to be averse to completing the set. Tire Jacket came out after the tier 3, and that got accepted. I believe the boots and gloves did as well. I don't fully remember that, but yeah, let's just take a look at the tire collection. This is doing good, but it could be a lot better if we did get those. Anyway, this does appear to be one of the blackout alternative options for this year. Now, there is another one, but I'll talk about that when we do a little preview for next week. But if you don't fully know, with like all the previous years up to the point where we had like blackout, we've had Dragon Rage, Black Gold, we've had Pirate Collection, Legacy Kevlar, we've had Commando and Black Diamond the previous year. Like, Face Punch seems to be very averse to the idea of accepting camouflage skins, but they're more than happy to accept like blackout alternatives. So as you'll see here, Dragon Rage. Over to here, you'll also see Black Gold. Then we have Pirate, Legacy Kevlar, and then we have Black Diamond, Commando last year. So every year since we've had Blackout, we keep getting at least 2 Blackout alternative options. And they do tend to work out quite alright. Both Commando and Black Diamond hoodie and pants, look, they're doing pretty good at the moment. That's nice to see. It's just, what gives? Why are they hiding, shirking from the tier 3? I don't know. I really don't know. I know you're desperate. I know you really want it. But at the very least, it's still getting acceptances. The Face Punch, they just seem to be avoiding that for some reason. I don't know why. But if you did manage to buy some hoodie and pants, you'd have made some lovely profit. What prices did you put down with Illbarders? Did you pick up any? I picked up a few, but I also bought... Wait, did I buy any hoodie and pants? You should have one of these, because by the end of the year, I think I'll go through all my purchases and maybe make a video about it. I did. I bought 20 tie hoodie and pants. I did. So right now, have I sold them? No. I was kind of waiting for the tier 3. At some point that tier 3 will appear, and then Hedge will sell and make delicious profit. Or maybe I'll wait until post-Christmas. I don't feel desperately in the need to sell them, but I have succeeded with my purchase, and I have succeeded with my buy order, so cool. But how cheap did you get at one point? It seems the lowest was when we're waiting for the arrival of boots and gloves, which did appear, but yeah, that went down to about $1.10 to $1.20. I did pick a whole bunch up, but yeah, cool. So anyway, cool. It worked out. Lovely stuff. Let's now move on and talk about the next skin. So that would be the Whittle Bloom Wooden Door. I had little faith, didn't think it was going to work out, and yet, as I look at it right now, it's actually above $1. Most wooden doors tend to go below $1, but nope, this one has persevered to a reasonable point. We did see a collection continuation, which I can point out just over to here. So what do we have? We had the large box. Was the large box before? You know what? I actually don't remember the order. I don't think many people do because they don't seem to worry too much about this. Yes, this was second, this was after. Okay. But yeah, wooden door, still halved in price. Could have been better. And I'm still hoping for the double door. For some strange reason, we have not yet had a wooden double door this year. How tragic. Cool. But yeah, that's sitting there at a fairly better price. My 40 cent to 6 cent barter is too low. But if I was to be honest with you, I didn't even do a barter on that. Didn't bother. Don't care for wooden doors. Sorry to say. So if you managed to pick some up, congratulations, I guess. But yeah, I don't think many people would have bought them with the 40 cent to 6 cent barter. So yeah. Disease Hatchet. Well, maybe I could just do both tools right now. Well, that went down to $1, and that went down to close to $1. They both matched up to expectation. 60 cents to 80 cents. That would have been successful. Have you managed to pick up any of your barders? Feel free to comment below. But yeah, they both dropped off. Hatchets, pickaxes, this isn't a surprise. It just keeps on happening. Randomly, do we see like a pair actually doing a pretty good job and actually going in the positive? So, okay, fair enough. Starry Dream Thompson, kind of just expected to be fairly reliable, and it is. Slightly down in price, but not down too bad. Just kind of sitting there, existing, chilling, relaxing. But yeah, with my $1.30 barter, I have managed to buy a couple, like here and there, not tons. Maybe I should offer a little bit more. I don't feel bad because once we go through like the autumn fall seasonal dip, I won't be surprised if this drops off a fair bit more, and I'm pretty sure I'll be able to pick up a bunch of them then. Wait till post-Christmas, sell them January 2026 time. I'm sure I can make some pretty decent profit. So I will wait with the long game. But I should have probably offered a little bit more because maybe I could have flipped them for a nice, good price during the summer. So yeah. Did you buy any? Have you picked up any with a barter? Feel free to comment below. Then we have the Chrome Bombshell Python. So, didn't sell that much, just barely over 10,000 subscribers. But it hasn't been a success. What gives? Well, very recently, we just so happened to see another Python skin being accepted, which also happened to have transparency, which also happens to be the most in-demand, hottest collection this year. The Heatseeker Python exists, and it is bright and beautiful. Now, again, this has the exact same amount of transparency with its Aimsight, but like I said, there's a whole series of these Heatseeker skins. Everyone's gone wild for them. For around almost the same price, people would rather have that than the Chrome Bombshell. Yeah, that's still technically kind of like $1 more, but you get the point, so. Yeah. So, yeah. Unfortunately, you're not that special anymore. And even both of these skins here have also dropped off a fair bit. That was about just over $11, but now it's just about 10. Heatseeker, why? Why did you have to exist? Oh well. So, yeah, did you pick up any barders with these? I did, because of course it's gotten fairly close with its price, as you'll see here. Just under $1.70. I did remove my buy order. I did do that. But I'm open to picking up more of these with a $1 barter. As time goes on, I do expect, this to work out quite nicely. It's always going to be there as an available option. Like, some people probably won't be able to afford the Heatseeker Python. And I can with that one. That's the cheapest pay-to-win Aimsight Python we have now. But no, not profitable, unfortunately. So, yes, awkward. Then we have Lamb Box. Whoops, sorry about that. Then we have a Lamb Box. Here we are. So, this actually has done a pretty decent job in terms of retaining its price. That's just due to the sheer lack of purchases, which led to the sheer lack of listings. It exists, but it doesn't get that many sales. But it is starting to trend upwards. and there have been collection continuations, but there's none of them that have been accepted. So, again, farmers, role players, I'm sure they'd love to have them around their base, outside in the garden, whatnot. It's just not exactly doing much. If you bought that, you're still not making a profit. If you manage to pick it up with a buy order, alright, fair enough. And I've bought a few, just a few. But yeah, my suggestion is 70 cents, $1.10. I can confirm to you that it did get fairly cheap, but it always stayed above around $1. So, yeah, okay, fair enough. Just about. So anyway, props to the lamb. Let's see if we get a collection continuation, but I've seen about 3 attempts so far, none of them have been accepted so far. And lastly, oh no, because we did the tours together. So yeah, that's everything. We expected not that much. We expected a tame week, nothing too crazy, and lo and behold, most of these skins have gone down in price. Some of them not down too bad, and of course some of them have worked out quite nicely. I was a bit unsure and a bit cowardly to offer too much for certain skins and missed out, but I feel like I've been mostly okay with all of this. So, alright, cool. I did talk about the positives of this, and they did tend to work out quite nicely, so that's pretty cool. Anyway, what about next week? Well, I did big it up. May 1st, 2025 was the jungle update. That was a very big roster as well. Next week's video is going to be fairly long, but there was one big problem. Loads of people turned up. Loads of people bought too many skins. Oh, yep, we're going to have a big old talk about oversaturation next week, because 2 months down the line, oh boy, it's gotten bad. Oh, yes. And you can see that pretty easily right now. So that's going to be a whole yapping session, talking about a specific thing. But overall, with this, it's fine. This probably could get worse. But July, August, let's see if it works out a little bit better. Maybe it rises up. Maybe more of these skins go in the positive. But with like newer things coming out, that's also led to problems. We even had like a Heatseeker Thompson. Alright, cool. So thank you very much for watching the video. I greatly appreciate it. Feel free to comment below your successes so far this year, because I'm pretty sure a lot of you are starting to sell your skins. Feel free to comment below the profits you made, and yeah, cool. So catch you later. And goodbye.